Echoes of Betrayal by Japi Mazwi. Chapter 28. The Teeth of the Border. 10th of February 2009. Beans wheeled our luggage forward while I hobbled beside him, leaning heavily on crutches, as we checked in at Oliver Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg. Just over 4 weeks ago, I arrived at this same terminal upright, whole, and determined. My heart trained only on my mother's fragile health. I had no premonition that I would leave South Africa four-legged, in pain, and forever altered. Back then, I was brimming with vitality. Now I limped like a fallen soldier. I had outlived both a crocodile and a hyena, yet somehow I felt conquered. Those beasts left teeth marks not just on my body, but deep within my soul. Life doesn't toss you into the abyss and then pull you back as if nothing happened. Something always stays behind, or something follows you home. My mind had taken to questioning itself far too often. We stood before the immigration officer, his stare slicing through me like an X-ray. He scanned Beans with a flick of his eyes, then focused entirely on me. I felt his suspicion crawl over my skin. It wasn't me he saw. It was what he thought I represented. And he didn't miss the crutches either. "Hello?" he said, his mouth forming the word, but his eyes doing the interrogation. His hyena eyes, sharp and unblinking, had sniffed out traffickers, exposed forgeries, caught Makwerekwere masquerading as citizens. Eyes that perhaps believed they could have stopped 9/11 if given the chance. But I didn't flinch. I matched his stare with my own. Let him search. I had survived worse than suspicion. His body language declared that his job was sacred. Mine, in return, said that I was not to be trifled with. When his gaze found nothing to feast on, it dropped to my passport, which he scrutinized like a sacred text. He turned its pages as though decoding an ancient scroll, willing it to betray me. But there was no flaw. It was a genuine British passport, gleaming with the unspoken power of the empire. If he wanted a bribe, he could try his own mother. I was clean. A small voice fluttered through my mind. "This is Johannesburg Airport, and everyone here has a story." The voice deliberately omitted Oliver Tambo. It couldn't bear to stain the legacy of a man who had given everything for black freedom. I imagined his restless spirit turning in the soil each time a corrupt officer exchanged dignity for a few dirty bills. I thought of my friend's daughter, denied her flight over a clerical error no one else had questioned until this terminal. Like all good airport tragedies, it began and ended at Oliver Tambo. It seemed I was destined to add my own story to the collection. When the officer cleared his throat and motioned me into a private room, a cold sweat broke across my back. There was nothing wrong with my documents. I repeated that mantra like a prayer. Still, I followed him. When Beans made a move to trail us, the officer barked at him to stay. Beans paused, then watched helplessly as I was escorted into a room smaller than most closets. It had a single desk and one crooked chair. If it wasn't officially a bribe room, it had been rehearsing for the role. "The teeth of the crocodile usually cripple its victim. You were lucky," he said, shutting the door behind us. His words stunned me. That was intimate knowledge, classified in a sense. Only a few knew of my crossing and my wounds. Who had spoken? "I was attacked by a hyena," I replied, hoping to test the waters. He cut me off with contempt. "Don't feed me human excreta, mama." He stared, and I blinked first. He didn't need to guess, he knew. "The soldiers might have swallowed your hyena tail. The doctors bought your I can't remember act, but not me. How much did you pay them to accept those weak lies?" "I was attacked by a hyena," I said again, quieter this time. He leaned forward, voice low and sharp. Are you sure you want to play this game, Mrs. Sibanda? A game you're bound to lose. At that moment, I sensed he didn't know the full truth. If Beans had betrayed me, he'd have mentioned the hyena too. That omission gave me pause. If you want to catch your flight, he warned, start talking. Now. Don't forget I know everything. You crossed Limpopo illegally to avoid Zimbabwean immigration. A crocodile attacked you. You passed out. They left you for dead on the riverbank. Isn't that what happened? I froze. He had me. And still I couldn't tell what he wanted. If he meant to arrest me, he could have done it already. Did he want a confession or currency? When Beans was finally allowed in, I was unraveling. My body was broken and my mind was not far behind. I told him what the officer had said. Beans didn't meet the officer's gaze. He just sighed, then tried to negotiate. Okay, £500, he offered with a forced smile. You might have a British passport, brother, but you still remember Africa. He turned to me. You can take the boy out of Africa, but not Africa out of the boy. £2,000 and we save this poor woman. I don't have that kind of money, Beans pleaded. The officer gestured out the window. You see that yellow building? There's a bureau de change. Go. As I followed his finger with my eyes, I saw her. The short woman with the puppy eyes. There she was again, walking past the terminal, head down, inconspicuous as breath. I stared, stunned into stillness. My mind collapsed into itself. I couldn't move. Beans returned and handed over the cash, negotiated down to £1,000. I didn't hear the haggling, didn't notice him leave, because I was still locked in that vision. The officer, satisfied, made no comment on my sweat-drenched state. He had what he wanted. My purse had been emptied in Limpopo. The price of survival had already been paid once. Now, Beans paid again for my body to cross borders with itching teeth, for my silence. At the desk, check-in finally completed. As we walked away, I asked the question burning on my tongue. How did he know about the crocodile? Beans met my gaze. How would I know? I'm as surprised and disappointed as you. There was nothing deceptive in his eyes, but the ghost of the short woman still lingered in mine. I didn't mention her sighting. What would be the point? My mind was already crowded with too many shadows. Besides, Beans hadn't paid with my money. ICE would pay him back. Some debts don't come from our own pockets. Eventually, we boarded our flight back to London, back to the promised land, or so I hoped.
Every betrayal leaves an echo. Chapter 29 is coming next. Get your copy of Echoes of Betrayal on Amazon and Gumroad. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next chapter.